there, everyone. That sexy nerd is back again, and we're doing something slightly different because I love Greek mythology and I love God of War. As you guys know, I put a trailer reaction a long time ago for Thor Ragnarok. I mean, what? Thor Ragnarok. God of War Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok. That's funny, though. Now, that love has not gone away, and I'm still anticipating the next game in the system. And I'm just like, God damn, man, how much longer do we gotta wait? But we are going to be covering the Mythology guys, mythological inaccuracies. Now, I purposely never watched the Norse saga specifically so I could do reactions to them, and I feel like now's the time. I actually have time to do it, so now's the time. And I mean, if you guys want me to do more of these, let me know because I have no problem doing the Greek mythology ones again. But I changed them in order because for some reason this guy prides himself on being mythologically accurate, but he's not chronologically accurate. It's ridiculous. He has, I think, God of War. I think yeah. I mean, he doesn't have Chains of Olympus first, like which is what should come first. He has the first one first, and then he doesn't have Ghosts of Sparta in the middle of the thing. So it kind of throws off the whole story. Neither does he have Betrayal in the right spot, even though Betrayal kind of is a game that it really is not, shouldn't be canon to begin with. Watch Captain Cuba if you want to know more about that. Or I could watch more of Captain Cuba. But I guess long story short, it's basically like it was basically them trying to tell the story of Kratos' brother, and it didn't work out that way. So, which was actually supposed to be paid off in God of War 3. So, yeah, I know that these games are not mythologically accurate, but I feel like the Norse games were slightly a little bit more mythologically accurate because, I mean, for one thing, they bleed red blood. I mean, the gods. I mean, I mean, how many times do these have to say, like, and not only him. There was a Gaming Sins video that did that. Kid Atari by Kid Atari, the Gaming Sins, not Dartigan, the other one, the one who is like oversimplified, just chooses not to release any more content arbitrarily, and it's ridiculous. But yeah, other than off that tangent, I'd rather just get into the video. And remember, please smash that like button if you want to see more sexy and nerdy content, and subscribe if you think I deserve it. And remember, sign up for my Patreon for all my latest reactions to all my latest videos. And let's do this thing, y'all. Love this game. You know what? I will say, by the way, which I didn't get to cover, I love these two games. I love the Greek games a slight bit more. Or I think they just play a little bit better, in my opinion. I just was way too used to that kind of game style. But the Dark Souls thing, it really did fit this kind of game. And it's like, these gods are weaker than the Greek gods. So it kind of makes sense. But then again, and it's an all different setting. I mean, and the story, honestly, I feel like was more mature, It's not just about killing people arbitrarily anymore, not going crazy. But I do kind of miss that Kratos, I kind of miss that young Kratos. And I'm sure many people do too. But I don't know what this is for the future going forward, man. Like how they're going to handle the Egyptian gods, how they're going to handle Chinese or Celtic, not Chinese, Japanese or Celtic, any of that stuff. It's really interesting to see where they can go from here.
Let's start by addressing the axe Kratos uses in this game. It is called the Leviathan axe and is later revealed to have been made by Brok and Sindri. Now, those two did make several incredible Norse items, including Thor's hammer, the Draupnir ring, and the golden boar Gullinbursti. But this axe is not among their creations, nor is it anywhere in Norse mythology. Even the name is a bit strange, considering the Leviathan is a fire-breathing serpent from Hebrew culture. Yep. Did Snorri Sturluson name this weapon?
Leviathan axe.
Oh, there do I see my mother.
Oh, there do I see my father.
Oh, there do I see my father. Oh, there do they call to me. Oh, there do they call to me.
That is actually a legitimate Viking prayer from a funeral witnessed by Ibn Fadlan during his travels.
Really?
Though that prayer also goes on to mention the beauty of the afterlife. Most people who know this quote probably know it from that movie, The 13th Warrior, but that version of it was slightly altered.
Ah! My bow!
No!
You're not ready!
Stay back!
Kratos is able to disintegrate these Draugr with his Leviathan axe, even though his axe is an ice elemental weapon. And the only way to truly kill a Draugr is by burning them and scattering their ashes so they cannot rise again.
But they look like they're made of fire and volcanic ash. Wolves.
On your left!
Well.
Wolves did not disintegrate when killed. If they did, the Ulfethnar warriors would have had nothing to wear.
What? Oh, come on.
What?
He can no longer use it. We can.
Well, actually, he probably was still using it, since the Vikings specifically buried or cremated people with items so they could bring them to the afterlife.
I know this is going to shock people, but also, things don't just go away when they're left on the ground like they do in games. It's more a gaming problem than a mythological problem, but...
Dude's probably in Valhalla wondering why his stuff just disappeared.
Should we be in here?
Wait, why shouldn't you be in there? Wait, I can never find this place.
I find it interesting that none of these Nornir chests use the Algi's rune, since that rune means protection, which you'd think would be associated with locking. I also don't get why they're even called Nornir chests. The Norns are beings who shape destiny. They're not really associated with chests or riches. They do carve runes, though, so maybe that's why.
Maybe. Why does he always show Mudkip or whatever the hell that one's name is?
The apples of Idun are golden, not green, and eating one is supposed to restore your health and youth, yet Kratos is still rocking the old man look.
Well, goddammit. That's why they're green. They're not real.
I see what you did there, but the idea of trolls under bridges originated in the Three Billy Goats Gruff Tale, which is a Norwegian story but wasn't published until 1841.
Ooh.
I know this is going to shock people, but the Norse did not have explosive pots of fire laying around.
Yeah, that's what I was imitating.
Wait for my mark. Relax. Do not think of it as an animal. It is simply a target. Clear your mind.
I always gotta do that.
This is clearly not a normal deer, but I'm not sure what magic deer it's supposed to be. We know it's not one of the stags of Yggdrasil because they appear in the next game, and we know it's not Eikthyr because he resides on the roof of Valhalla. So, no idea.
We're gonna fight that?
We have no choice.
The trolls in this game have various appearances depending on their environment, which is very accurate. But they also have pretty normal noses, despite Norse people very regularly depicting trolls with abnormally large noses.
By the way, I'll just say it now. I mean, I know a lot about Greek mythology. I do not know that much about Norse mythology. I mean, I'm learning a lot more. I really am, especially by watching this guy's videos. And I've never seen the Thor one, so I'm kind of interested in watching those, you know. But anyway, yeah, I'm just mostly with God of War right now, and yeah, I'm probably gonna not know a lot of these. Sorry.
Also, sunlight is supposed to turn trolls to stone,
Yeah, that's
yet
true.
these trolls are constantly walking around in daylight.
That's true. That's true. Well, you gotta use your fists. I always like doing this better. Wham!
These creatures are called Hell Reavers. Really, though, they're just a more accurate version of Droger, since they have pale blue complexions, as Droger are often described, and are most easily defeated by a set of fire-based weapons we acquire later.
Just tell me what I want to know.
No need for this to get bloody!
I thought you'd be bigger.
You do not want this fight.
I'm pretty sure I do.
Leave my home.
You are going to have to kill me for that to happen.
This guy is Baldur, and Baldur was revered for his incredible beauty, wisdom, and peaceful nature.
Yeah,
Do
no.
you see the problem here?
Hey, wait, that's from
Baldur
the end.
has ice and fire powers in this game, but he wasn't the god of either of those things. He was a god of light.
Slow and old. You should never have come to Midgard.
Baldur has several cuts here, but his invincibility is supposed to prevent any living or non-living thing from even being able to pierce him. We know this because the gods would throw their weapons at him for fun and watch them all harmlessly bounce off of him.
Look at this.
Odin has 51 Raven spies in this game,
Yeah, he
and
only
even
has 2.
more in the sequel. In the myths, he
that
only
Raven?
had 2, named Hugin and Munit. Also, they weren't bright green.
They were black.
You were right.
Say, you must be smart or something, boy. You're a boy, aren't you?
This creature does not seem to represent any actual creature in Norse mythology.
looks like a
At least
dinosaur
none that
bird.
I can find.
Does she have a name?
Or a dinosaur. Or a
I
dinosaur.
don't know. Rude bastard ain't ever asked mine, so I ain't ever asked hers. Ah! Ha!
What's yours?
Brock.
There is no mention of Brock or any other dwarves having blue skin. They are sometimes equated with the Dark Elves and thus may have had black skin, but still never blue. Yes, I know the reason is given in the sequel, and we'll get to that in a future vid.
There's a rune in the shape of a fork under the grip. No, Aqua.
What the?
That was our brand, my brother and me, before we split. I got half of it right here, see?
There is also no Norse story of Brock and Sindri having a falling out.
Horn of Bloodmead.
These horns of Bloodmead are clearly meant to be the Bloodmead of Kvasir. The thing is, collecting them in this game increases your maximum rage. But in the myths, drinking Kvasir's mead actually makes you extremely poetic and wise.
Really?
Obviously, this game should have had a poetry gauge. It would fit right in with Kratos' Greek heritage.
Actually, it would. Fire Troll!
In case anyone's wondering, the names of these trolls do not match up with any Norse myth characters. They just translate to titles like Death Merchant and Burning Death, etc.
I got it. Elbow up, steady hand, relax. Accuracy over speed. Yes!
Do not lose it.
We didn't know he belonged to anyone.
He doesn't. He's my friend.
The boy was following my command.
Then help fix this. Hold here, please. Hold, I said. He's losing blood. The last of his kind in all the realm, and you shoot him.
Last of his kind. It's revealed later that this boar is Hildisvini. Hildisvini is actually a human who sometimes uses magic to disguise himself as a boar. We know he's not the last human left in Midgard, so what does she mean by this?
Emily!
Emily!
It's all right.
Turtle, bruh.
There are
Turtle.
several mythologies with giant turtles, but Norse is sadly not one of them.
The gods
I don't
of
think
these
they even
realms
knew what
don't
turtles
take kindly
were.
to outsiders. Trust me. I know. When they find you, and they will, they'll make things difficult.
Really? They didn't seem to do much when Christianity started spreading around.
Nightmare. Mom used to tell me about them. Didn't think they were actually real.
Nightmares.
Yeah. They give people nightmares. Or they are nightmares. I don't remember which.
Scandinavian nightmares, also called mares, are creatures that come to you when you're asleep and sit on you while causing terrible fear. Basically a sleep paralysis demon. They don't attack people who are awake. Also, they typically look more like this.
The axe did not return. What is this?
The world serpent. So big.
Just wanted to point out that this scene is a pretty obvious reference to when Thor caught Jormungandr while fishing. The main difference being that Thor used an ox head to bait the serpent.
So, know any good stories to pass the time?
What kind of story?
I don't know. Mother always had stories. Weren't you told any when you were a boy?
There was a man I knew long ago. His stories were brief and purposeful.
Sounds fun? Do you remember any?
There was one that concerned a hare and a tortoise.
Oh, Kratos knew Aesop. That's interesting. Gotta say, though, I'm surprised while Kratos mentions all these stories, he never brings up Aesop's tale of Heracles and the Wagoner. That has a moral I really think Kratos would like. And it's about his brother.
Well, his brother. Emos?
This Tatzelworm design is actually very accurate. The only somewhat strange thing is that tatzelworms were said to be in the Alpine region, which is close to the Nordic countries but doesn't include them.
What? Why were they able to include the... Oh, that makes no sense. In guard. I love this game. I might play it.
I must speak with you.
Let's see
Another
if it's
spirit.
Ragnarok.
That's
Viking?
interesting. These enemies are called Viking, but Viking was the name of a Danish province during this time. Are these guys supposed to be from there or something?
What was it called? Viking?
This lore says that Andvari was one of the sons of Ivaldi, which is not true.
No?
Those are a separate group of dwarves from
Yeah,
a
what?
completely different story. In fact, their names aren't stated anywhere.
Oh. Yeah, and Bondi, they're completely two different people.
That's a soul eater. If that kills us, that's it.
Let me
No
guess,
Valhalla,
it's not real.
No hell, no afterlife, ever.
The only known creatures who devour souls in Norse mythology are Nidhogg and Garm. There are soul eaters who are connected to magical rocks in Hausa culture, but that's a different place entirely.
We did it! I can't believe it.
Believe it. You are stronger than you know.
Thank you, Father. Let's see if that's the alchemist's ring.
Green ring. Dwarvish inscription.
The alchemist.
What'd you find?
You're an alchemist.
I'm sorry, Brock. The hand is all we could find. Still wearing the ring.
Andvari's ring is supposed to be cursed to bring dire misfortune to whoever has it. Yet nothing seems to happen to Kratos
Is
or
not wearing
Brock
it?
when we bring it to him.
Please
Probably
don't,
not wearing it.
please don't eat us.
Boy, prepare yourself.
Also, if y'all didn't know, Andvari's ring, I think, was the inspiration for the One Ring from Lord of the Rings.
Welcome!
If he could speak English, I'm sure he would thank you.
This dragon is named Otur. Otur was Fafnir's brother, and he wasn't a dragon who got captured, he was a dwarf who could shapeshift. He was actually killed by Loki while he was in the form of an otter because Loki wanted the pelt and didn't know he was actually a dwarf. I guess you could argue he shapeshifted into this form, but if that's the case, why doesn't he just shapeshift now to get out of his restraints?
Whoa,
Foothills.
sure is foggy here. Another dwarf. Should we...
No.
The Norse tale of Alvis states that dwarves turn to stone if exposed to sunlight, but that doesn't seem to affect any of the dwarves in these games.
Those roots. What kind of magic is that?
It's Vanir.
From Vanaheim?
You know of it?
Just stories. Mother didn't say much about the Vanir gods. Just that they're always at war with the Aesir.
The Aesir and Vanir did go to war once, but only once. After that, they made peace and fought as allies during Ragnarok.
That's true.
Through these doors.
Wait, so did the giants or the elves build Tyr's temple?
All the races helped with its construction. It was the last great act of cooperation between the realms before peace disappeared for good.
There is no such act of cooperation in Norse mythology.
Is this it? It's so dark.
Temple has been asleep, underwater for almost 150 winters. It needs only the light of the Bifrost to reawaken. Approach the table.
How does it work?
You will need this, a Bifrost, to create travel between realms. It can capture, hold, and transfer the light of Alfheim. Place the Bifrost there.
The Bifrost is not a key. It is a bridge that connects Asgard to Midgard.
Those roots don't look like your magic.
They aren't. These roots are part of the Great World Tree and make travel between the realms possible.
What now?
Give it a moment. The temple needs time to wake up from its long slumber. It is from this room, and this room alone, that you will be able to cross between realms. What you see before you represents the temple in which we stand, as well as the realm towers that encircle the Lake of Nine outside. All the realms exist in the same physical space, reflections of each other. These doors, the towers outside, and the 9 realms are all intertwined and coexisting on the branches of the World Tree.
Drizil teleportation to
Frostlight of Alfheim.
There was no
Tree, separated only by the Bifrost Light of Alfheim.
There was not an Yggdrasil teleportation temple in Norse mythology. Yggdrasil was connected to all the realms, but the realms weren't actually all that separate from each other. It's not super specific, but we do know that some of the realms are walking distance from each other, and there are stories of Thor traveling between them just using his chariot.
What does it say?
Something about an eternal war for the light. I don't get it. If both sides need it, why not just share it?
Read. You will find it a common cause for war.
The both sides being referred to here are light elves and dark elves. Dark elves definitely do not need the light, considering sunlight turns them to stone. You'd think they'd want to avoid it at all costs.
They keep murdering the light elves.
It is war. The end of one. The rope once lost.
We are currently in Alfheim. Dark elves do not reside in Alfheim. They live in Svartalfheim with the dwarves. There is also no story of them going to war with the light elves. As for their designs, well, they're said to be black as ink, which fits here, and there's no story saying they don't have bug wings, so I guess we're good.
How?
These ancients are apparently supposed to be lingering pieces of Ymir who have been around since the beginning of the world. Now, in Norse mythology, there aren't creatures specifically called ancients, but the first giants did come from Ymir's body, and there were stone giants like Hrungnir, so I guess you could say these are ancient giants who survived the Great Blood Flood after Ymir's death. Though I'm not 100% sure that was the idea, since a big theme of this game is that the giants all went into hiding and Odin can't find them, yet here's a type of giant who appears several times throughout the realms.
It's not the giants he needs, though.
Boy.
Why wouldn't it
Another
be?
one.
This giant's a sorceress. Her name is Groa. Looks like she had visions. Did Odin kill her for her book?
There is no story of Odin killing Groa.
Are you injured?
I'm fine.
Yeah, okay.
Wow. It's beautiful. The light. It's making the whole temple reappear.
Boy, your bow. Hold it out.
Oh, I get it. See, you make bridges with that. Yeah. Funny.
On my mark, loose your arrow into the stone.
It worked.
We can now make our way back. Come.
This Light of Alfheim is not mentioned in Norse myth, nor is its apparent ability to create solid bridges out of light. The closest thing to that would probably be the Bifrost, since that was a solid bridge
that's what it's
somehow
supposed to
made out
be.
of rainbow light. Oh hey, maybe that's why this game has a Bifrost key, which is powered by the light of Alfheim.
Yes!
Just noticed that.
Boy, over here.
That's funny. At least this is not a sins video, you know? Because he doesn't have to take back sins like every time he made a mistake. So...
This lore states that the Light of Alfheim is also called the River of Souls. I thought perhaps this meant it was one of the 11 sacred rivers that flow throughout the realms from Thurgelmir. But those rivers are called Svol, Gunthra, Fjorm, Fimbulthul, Sleder, Hreed, Silger, Ilger, Veed, Leipter, and Gjol, none of which translate to light or soul.
Oh, okay. Oh, I remember this, yeah. Boss is hard.
For anyone wondering, the reason this character is called Svartalfjotr is likely because Svartalf means dark elf, and Jofr was an honorary title for certain Norse kings. So the name basically means dark elf king.
Well, there you go. Svartalfjotr. It's a good name,
Atreus uses runic magic in this game, but in order to gain the power of the runes, Odin had to impale himself with a spear and hang from a tree for several days to prove himself worthy. How come Atreus doesn't have to do any of that? Seems a little unfair.
There's an abandoned temple in Midgard that a fellow dwarf converted to his personal storeroom. Packed it with all sorts of treasures he collected during his travels throughout the realms.
Throughout the realms? Which
Throughout
ones
the
did he go to?
realms?
What did he collect?
Fafnir was a, shall we say, aggressive collector of magical artifacts. The more he acquired, the more he desired.
Fafnir only acquired one hoard of treasure in his story, the one he stole from his father after killing him. After that, he took it to the wilderness and became a dragon while greedily protecting it. Didn't really do any traveling.
You can beach the boat here. Treasures from all different realms. Do you think that Fafnir went to Alfheim too?
I do not know.
Aren't you curious? He sounds interesting.
We go to the storeroom to collect anything useful for our journey, not to learn more about the dwarf.
Fafnir stayed with his treasure until he was killed. We find out later that he is still alive and not with his treasure. We also found the Ring of Andvari earlier, but that's supposed to be among Fafnir's hoard.
You, didn't happen to find that whetstone, perchance?
We found no whetstone. This dagger belongs to the reaver who took it.
They took most of the good stuff.
Fafnir's hoard was found and taken by a random reaver in this game. In the myths, it was the hero Sigurd who took the treasure after slaying Fafnir.
Wonder who wrote that.
Why did he slay him? I want to know that story. Jeez. Andavari. His names are cool.
Seder is a form of magic, so I'm not going to pretend to know every possible outcome of it, but using it doesn't guarantee you'll become a monster. There were several Norse people in real-world history who practiced Seder and remained human. Odin himself is said to have a close association with Seder, and the goddess Freya uses it more than anyone.
These passages seem too small for giants. Why do you laugh?
Oh, you're serious?
I am always serious.
I forget. Mom always said you never took an interest in history. Giants are just a race, like elves and Holgerfolk. It doesn't mean they're big.
What of the world serpent?
Okay, in that case, giant also means big. But there's only one of them.
That is 100% correct! Well done. Not everyone knows that.
We made it across!
Read it.
Yes, sir. Oh, this is Duak, one of the 4 stags of the World Tree. He's supposed to watch the entrance to Jotunheim while the giants sleep.
I couldn't find anything backing that up, but his name does mean thriving slumber, so he definitely has something to do with sleep.
Well, okay.
There are a lot of hanging offerings to the gods in this game, and they're always filled with hack silver. But Vikings usually offered food and drink to the gods. They would sometimes hang humans and animals from trees as
that's
sacrifices. I guess using those as a currency would have been a bit too dark.
I guess so. Hazeler, whatever. Turban is what the hell?
The Norse did have dragons, but there isn't any record of their dragons breathing lightning. Lightning was almost always associated with Thor. Dragons being associated with lightning storms is more of an Asian thing. The Norse did have fire-breathing dragons, though. In fact, if you don't consider the Leviathan a dragon, then the Norse had the very first fire-breathing dragon in the tale of Beowulf.
Wow.
Okay.
We actually did it.
Wow.
And you!
But nobody's killed a dragon for hundreds of years. Not since the grand culling of the worms. And unless I'm mistaken,
Culling?
you did all that for me.
You are mistaken. The dragon was simply on our path, nothing more.
You deny it all you want, but you saved me, and that deserves compensation.
What are these?
Braided mistletoe arrows, straighter than Heimdall and perfectly weighted.
You know, the reason Frigg didn't bother with the mistletoe when she was collecting Hippocratic oaths from everyone and everything was because she considered it to be the most harmless-looking thing in all the realms. Yet, here's a dwarf making arrows out of it, for reasons I do not know.
Yeah, what the hell?
Another one here.
I don't think
This
they
one's
thought that
called
one
Ymir.
through.
Mother tried to tell me this one, but I think I was too young. Are giants coming out of his armpits?
Why was that
I think
for?
that might be Odin stabbing him.
Odin is riding Sleipnir in this picture, as evidenced by the horse's many legs,
But
but
he can't
Sleipnir wasn't even
exist.
born yet
Yep.
when Ymir was slain. Sleipnir was mothered by Loki during the building of Asgard's wall, which was after the Vanir War, which was after Ymir's death. The rest is pretty spot on, though. They even have Ymir's six-headed son Thrudgelmir, and you can see Odin's brothers Vili and Vid. Seriously, this game does a lot right.
The boy's mother is dead. She wished her...
She wanted us to spread her ashes on the highest peak in all the realms.
Oh, then
You've come to the wrong place, little
brother.
brother. The highest peak in all the realms is not here in Midgard. It's in Jotunheim, realm of the giants.
Really? Because every image, map, or mention I can find of the 9 realms seem to have Asgard as the highest one.
Nidavellir.
I mean, technically, Hraesvelgur's perch would be higher, but that's outside the realms.
Who are you?
Me? I'm the greatest ambassador to the gods, the giants, and all the creatures of the 9 realms. I know every corner of these lands, every language spoken, every war waged, every deal struck. They call me
Mimir! Smartest
Odin
man
made sure
alive.
that no weapon, not even Thor's hammer, could free my body from these bonds. He tortures me, you know. Every day, brother. Odin himself sees to it personally, and believe me, there is no end to his creativity.
Odin and Mimir never had a falling out. They remained allies even after Mimir was decapitated. Also, Mimir was never said to have horns, and he never lost one of his eyes.
We're going to Jotunheim, right?
It's your best and only move from a tactical standpoint. It's the one place the man who cannot be killed won't follow you.
What do we do?
Yes!
First, you need to cut off my head.
Wait, what?
Very well.
Oh, I can't watch this.
I'm going to cut off your head now.
Fair enough.
That's not how Mimir lost his head. After the Aesir-Vanir War, both sides exchanged a few gods as peace offerings. The Aesir sent Mimir and Honir to Vanaheim. Mimir was smart, and Honir was good-looking. But when Mimir wasn't around, Honir never knew what to say. So the Vanir felt cheated and chopped off Mimir's head in anger.
Wait. Where did you get those? The arrows. Give them to me, now.
They were a gift.
Do as she says, boy.
These arrows are dangerous. They're wicked. You find any more, you destroy them, understand? Do you understand? Say it!
I understand. If I see them, I'll destroy them.
It's all I ask. Forgive me.
If you're worried about the mistletoe now, why don't you just make it promise not to hurt your son like you did with everything else?
Now,
Because that's not how
what's
it
this about
happened.
ahead?
He claimed you could revive him.
Me? Are you sure you heard him right? Take him to the table. Pamela. It's been a long time since I've practiced the old magic. Now, hold his head under the water and don't let go. I mean it. That's enough. Mimir? You there?
Yes.
Good.
Oh. Hello, Freya. Been a long time.
It was actually Odin who revived Mimir's head using magic and herbs, and after he did, Mimir was either taken to a sacred well or stayed with Odin as his advisor.
You look well.
Don't buy
What I
NFTs.
did, I did for them. As far as I'm concerned, death suits you better.
I'd bow if I could, Your Majesty. Forgive me. Had I known the witch in the woods was Freya herself, I never would have suggested this.
Freya? The goddess Freya?
You didn't know either?
I think this is a good time to point out that Freya never has her cloak of feathers or her chariot pulled by two cats.
Oh, well,
When word gets out that
damn.
Mimir is free,
Would
the
have loved
wrath
to
of
see
Odin
all
won't
that.
be far behind.
You are God.
Goddess.
Leader of the Vanir, once yes, but no longer.
Well, specifically, you were the ruler of Folkvanger, the Vanir version of Valhalla. Your father,
there is?
Njord, was the ruler of Vanaheim.
Mimir, you never did tell me why Freya spit in your face.
Well, she blames me in large measure for her present circumstances, and not totally without reason. It all goes back to the long war between the Aesir and Vanir. Prior to that, wars for the Aesir were easily won, but the Vanir had proved their equal and exacted devastating damage. Both sides suffered tremendous losses, and for many of us, quite frankly, war was simply no fun anymore, but a rather senseless waste of precious life. Wouldn't you agree, brother? Precisely. Enough was enough. And at last, Odin's most brilliant advisor became determined to find a more enlightened path. He set about to broker a peace between the gods. Took some convincing, but ultimately Odin was persuaded to marry his deadliest enemy, a certain Vanir goddess, legendary not only for her fertile beauty, but her genius at the very Vanir magic that Odin had long aspired to master.
Freya married Odin? What was in it for her?
It was a sacrifice to protect her people, a selfless act of love.
The peace wasn't sealed by marriage. The peace was sealed by each side sending multiple gods to the other, as I said earlier. The Vanir didn't just send Freya, they also sent Freyr and Njord.
Lord.
Talk to this here ring.
What? I can't hear thoughts from rings, Brock.
Well,
It's talking to me! It's Andvari!
Ha! Knew it.
He says he went to the Velnder mines to
why?
observe his mistake, but then the Soul Eater attacked, so as he was being ripped apart, he cast a spell that removed his soul and put in this ring.
Andvari's ring, along with his other riches, were stolen from him by Loki. Andvari did eventually recover his riches, but the one thing he never
The
found
ring.
was the ring. So he wouldn't have had it with him when he died.
The ring.
Okay, that's going in the journal.
There is no story of Andvari creating soul eaters in Norse mythology. By the way, for anyone wondering why this area is called the Volander Mines, Volander was a famous blacksmith in Norse myth, so it kinda makes sense that a bunch of smithing dwarves would name their workspace after him.
I can't believe Odin and Freya were ever married.
Love and hate are more closely intertwined than you might imagine. For instance, Odin hates the giants and they him. But Thor's own mother was the giantess Fjorgun, one of Odin's great loves.
So Thor's half god and half giant? Weird.
Now you might be thinking, wait, wasn't Thor's mother a giantess named Jord? And you'd be right. Jord and Fjorin are both names that refer to the Jotun earth deity, and so were likely just two names for the same character. So this isn't an inaccuracy. Just wanted to clear that up.
Okay then.
The Valkyries lived in Valhalla, so not sure why their official council would be in Midgard.
Okay, Obviously, the marriage to Odin didn't last.
There is no story of Odin and his wife breaking up.
Wow. It's like there was an entire city under the water.
Aye, lad. A forgotten city.
What was it called?
Well, I forgot.
There's something down there.
I wonder if this underwater city is supposed to be the land of the sea god Aegir, especially since Aegir's hulls were lined with gold, and we keep finding Aegir's gold in these very waters. If that is the case, how could Mimir have possibly forgotten it? Aegir had regular feasts that all the gods were invited to, and served the greatest ale in all the realms. Come on, Mimir, have a little appreciation.
But you know
Or
why?
did you have a little too much ale to remember?
Or
Probably that.
probably
Mimir.
not. Yeah.
There was a
most
shrine
likely
about
that.
a giant lady with lots of books and visions.
Ah, that would be Groa, the Knowledge Keeper.
Groa.
She was a gifted sorceress who gathered every tome of arcane wisdom she could find in the realms, all in
Didn't
the
they say
hopes
he
of
killed
augmenting
Groa?
her powers of prophecy, that she might find her lost husband, Arvandil.
Arvandil.
It was not her husband she would glimpse in her visions, for it was Groa, seeing longer and farther than any before or since, who witnessed Ragnarok, the end and the beginning. When Odin caught word of her ultimate prophecy, he maneuvered to obtain her knowledge and hoard it for himself. Groa knew Odin as a long-time patron of her services, and so she welcomed him into her library as a friend.
Odin is told the prophecy of Ragnarok by an unnamed seeress in the myths. Groa is also a seeress, but the gods only go to her at the end of the tale of Hrungnir to try to get pieces of flint out of Thor's head.
Well, maybe it is her
What she
then.
did not know is that Odin himself was behind her husband's disappearance, having used his enchantments to conceal his death at Thor's hands from her sight.
Also, Thor didn't kill her husband. He actually saved Orvandil's life while traveling with him by snapping off his frostbitten toe and tossing it into the sky.
What did that do?
Fafnir. I always wondered what became of him.
Wait,
Fafnir.
Fafnir? Like Fafnir's storeroom?
And
Fafnir?
let me guess.
Very one.
But Sindri said he was a dwarf.
He was. And now he's a dragon. Funny how life works, isn't it?
Shut up, Mimir. And he doesn't breathe lightning fire.
Fafnir was indeed a dwarf who became a dragon, but he wasn't said to have wings and sometimes was said to not even have legs. Also, he breathes lightning here, but he was specifically said to breathe and excrete toxic fumes, which killed all life around him.
Excrete?
Yet there is plenty of plant life in this area. Also, he was never captured. Sigurd tracked him down and killed him with the help of Fafnir's brother.
Oh, okay,
Never
so my
answered the
bad.
boy's question, Head. How did this
So what the
dwarf become a dragon?
I don't know for certain, though I'd wager his penchant for stealing magical artifacts had something to do with it. Must have stolen a trinket from the wrong Vanir goddess.
You're close. Fafnir killed his father and stole his treasure hoard, which included Andvari's cursed ring. The curse was what transformed him into a dragon. No Vanir goddesses were involved.
Oh, okay.
This bestiary says that Fafnir was one of the sons of Ivaldi, which is not true. Fafnir's father was Hreidmar.
Hreidmar.
Hrungnir, the brawler, the real.
There was a huge battle, right? His shrine had him in the middle, fighting off Aesir.
A pretty story, but no. Hrungnir, you see, was born with neither head nor heart, so the giants had to complete him with stone. He was strong, to be sure, but also a perfect simpleton. Odin met him wandering in Midgard one day, found him so amusing, so harmless, so gullible, that he invites him back to his palace in Asgard.
The witch.
There he gives
walking
Hrungnir his fill of mead, and goads him into all manner of boasts and antics, all for the amusement of the court. I was there. I saw the Aesir laugh as Hrungnir leapt upon his shield and swore he'd kill us all and take our womenfolk back to Jotunheim. Then Thor shows up. And does he laugh?
No.
Oh, no. Thor takes one look at the drunken stone buffoon and brings down Mjolnir on his head so hard that he's got chunks of Hrungnir in his own skull to this day. Thor is so startled by the faceful of rock, he doesn't notice Hrungnir's body topple right onto him with a sickening crunch.
The reason Hrungnir got drunk and angry in the myths was because he had just lost a horse race with Odin and was pretty bitter about it. The rest is pretty accurate, though.
That's an awful story, Mimir. Nothing like the ones Mother told me.
Let that be a lesson, my son. Truth is seldom so pretty as myth and legend.
Oh, I see what you're trying to do, game. Trying to invalidate everything I'm saying? Well, too bad! This has been my most requested video for years, and so the nitpicking shall continue no matter what you say.
Nitpick the f out of it. Actually,
Ymir's breath is the wind itself, not an axe pommel. I guess you could say it's not literal, it's just a name choice. But to that I would say...
Shut up.
Shut up.
Mimir, why don't you tell us the story of the giant that stole Thor's hammer?
Happily, my boy. It involves your friend Freya, too, though I don't expect it's one she'd enjoy being reminded of. The giant was called Thrym.
Thrym.
And he proved cunning enough to make off with Mjolnir while the Thunder Lummox slept.
Uh-oh.
Sadly for Thrym, he didn't always think with his brain. Though he had robbed the greatest giant killer of his greatest weapon, he offered to trade it back to the Aesir in exchange for Freya as his bride. Now, at this point, Freya was married to Odin, and Odin, frankly, would have traded her for a sufficiently strong mead. But he saw an opportunity here. Thrym's palace was in Jotunheim, and only giants know the way. By agreeing to the marriage, they'd have to escort Freya back to their realm. So, Odin coerced Freya into using her Seithar magics to conceal Thor, so he could sneak along with her and infiltrate Jotunheim.
It wasn't Freya who escorted Thor to the wedding, it was Loki. And he wasn't concealed by magic. Thor was disguised as Freya by wearing a wedding dress and veil.
Yeah.
Yes, the giants were stupid enough to fall for that.
Yeah, seems
also,
legit.
the Aesir didn't use the deception to find Jotunheim. They were just trying to find Thor's hammer. The Aesir pretty much always knew how to get to Jotunheim. Thor traveled there several times.
A wolver!
A dangerous beast. We will take him down together.
Wolvers were from Scottish folklore, and they were said to be creatures who didn't bother you if you didn't bother them. They actually spend most of their time fishing, and there are some stories of wolvers leaving fish on the windowsills of poor families. I'd hardly call that a dangerous beast.
Well,
This bestiary compares wolvers to berserkers. What's interesting, though, is there actually are wolf-wearing versions of berserkers, the
Those are
Elfednar I
humans.
mentioned earlier.
What can you tell me about that giant lady with the bow?
She was called Skadi, Queen of the Hunt. Her father was Thiotzi, who could take the shape of any wild creature, and taught Skadi how to hunt them all. From the ribs of pack beasts, she fashioned second feet, allowing her to glide upon the snow so no animal could evade her. She became a huntress beyond compare, even to any god. Odin himself wanted her for his bride, believing she would bear him strong sons. But she spurned his affections, and for that insult, Odin vowed revenge. It was put forth that the Aesir were plagued by an eagle who would steal the precious golden apples of Idun. Not even the finest archer among the gods could bring it down. Odin knew that Skadi could not resist the temptation to prove herself superior, and so she joined the hunt.
I feel like
Skadi
no.
tracked the eagle as it flew where she alone could glide, and loosed an arrow from her unerring bow. When she collected her quarry, she found no eagle at all, but her own father, poor Thiotzi, slain by his own daughter. She was overcome with grief and shame, for there is nothing nature so reviles as a child who kills their parent. Skadi succumbed to her fate as winter's blanket fell, holding her father as the mountain held her in an embrace to last eternity.
Odin never tried to court Skadi. Thiassi was killed by the Aesir after they rescued Idun from him and he tried to take her back. Skadi was angry about his death, but the gods made peace with her by putting her father's eyes in the sky to watch over her and giving her the god Njord as a husband. Loki also tied his balls to a goat to make her laugh.
What? I'm sorry?
her the god Njord as a husband. Loki also tied his balls to a goat to make her laugh.
That is something a masochist does. Loki from Norse mythology is weird. Like, let's not mention that he is either good or bad. Let's not mention that. Let's not mention the fact that he constantly tries to screw with his brother, but also helps him. Like, or no, he's not even his brother in Norse mythology, is he? You just see that all the time. No, he's from a different family altogether. But let's move on to the real thing. That he decided to have a snake, a half demon, half dead woman, half live baby, and a freaking wolf. How did that all happen when it never made any sense to me ever?
This lore states that practicing Seder magic was considered deeply shameful. The only known times anyone was shamed for using Seder was when men used it, because some people considered it an unmanly magic, though this is something people debate. There was a story called the Lokasena where Loki criticizes some of the gods for using Seder, but given what's revealed later, I doubt that story is canon in this game.
Alright, Loki.
A Haminga in Norse culture is a guardian spirit who grants luck to the person it accompanies, so it makes perfect sense why this essence would grant luck. My only question is, how on earth was this essence kept in a chest? Haminga are not corporeal, and when their person dies, they go to a beloved family member. They aren't a resource you can trade.
Ulfik, you were taken from this realm too early.
Ulfik.
You who walks among the living! My beloved Gulvig calls to me. She yearns for peace, yet her remains lie in pieces. I beg of you, make my Gulvig whole again.
You want us to collect her bones? Gross.
Gulvig's Sather magic knows no bounds. She can reunite you with those you've lost.
Really? How?
Boy.
I can smell your grief, child. Rest assured, her magic is strong enough to create bridges between life and death, if only for a short while.
Gulvig is a character in Norse mythology who was speared by the Aesir and burned 3 times, yet was also reborn 3 times. The poem doesn't specify how. However, she was killed in the halls of Odin in Asgard, so not sure why her remains would be in Midgard. The poem also states that when she was called to people's homes to perform magic, she was called Heider. Since this guy is offering her magical services, you'd think he'd be using her business name.
That's funny. Rise, my beloved
Gulvig!
Gulvig!
Corpse spirit. Show us this magic you have promised.
Ah, my sweet Gulvig, whole again. Rise, dear Gulvig. Awaken, O powerful Gulvig!
Evni ukar bitjast.
She says she'll honor our request.
Eldi fagna.
By killing.
And reunite us? Okay.
If you're wondering whether or not Gulvig was a villain, her poem states that she was a joy to evil women.
Oh.
So, yeah, she probably was.
This chisel we seek, what is it?
Fake.
I'm glad you asked, actually. I have just the story for you. There was a giant once named Thamur. A very giant, who, despite his mountainous size, was without question the greatest stonemason this world had ever seen. Proud Thamur hoped to one day pass his vast knowledge onto his son. But young Hrimthur had the heart of a warrior. Perhaps the father had too much fear in him, or the son too little. Either way, The quarrel of theirs spiraled out of control, and the overworked stonemason, bonk, struck his son. Hrimthur ran off into the night. Feeling shame and regret, Thamur chased after his son. But in his emotional state, soon found himself wandering Midgard, lost and alone. Sadly, he caught the eye of the one person who didn't want to meet alone that night, so far from home. Thor.
And what happened next?
Well,
You'll see.
I could not find any reference to giants named Thamur or Hrimthur in all my research, nor this particular story. I know Hrimthur is later revealed to be the wall builder, but we'll get to that.
There must have been some war that made the lock of him.
I'll kill you!
Atreya! Control yourself!
Magni does not die before Ragnarok, or even during Ragnarok for that matter. He and Modi are supposed to be some of the only gods who survive the entirety of Norse mythology.
No! How did you... You have no idea. You son of a bitch!
Modi's name translates to mighty or brave, and right now he's not representing that very well.
Nope.
Look here. Another.
Ah, you know this one, don't you?
It's Thamur, the giant stonemason. Is he building a wall around Jotunheim?
It was to be his masterwork. He only wanted to protect his people.
Too bad the first part got burned.
I prefer the last panel was burned. Such a senseless pity.
There is no record of a wall around Jotunheim. There is a wall around Asgard, and the gods also used Ymir's eyebrows to build a wall around Midgard as protection from Jotunheim, but no wall around Jotunheim.
I think she knows what you're doing.
Interesting how we're battling the Valkyrie Gunnar here, considering Gunnar was a Valkyrie who was believed to be able to decide the outcomes of battles. If she remembers she has that ability, we're screwed.
Yeah, right.
Kratos kills the Valkyries in this game by tearing their wings off, but in the Tale of Volander, the Valkyries are able to easily remove their wings. Or feathered cloaks, depending on the version. Either way, they can remove the things that grant them flight.
Father, it's Tyr, but the middle panel is missing. Wait, I thought Tyr was a god, not a giant.
Aye, but he was loved by everyone, including the giants. Other than me, he was the only one they gifted with their special sight.
Tyr was a very just and honorable god. He wasn't beloved by all, though. His own 900-headed grandmother hated him, and Fenrir is likely pretty mad that Tyr abused his trust. Yeah. Also, this sight that Tyr and Mimir have is not in the myths.
Rain?
You ruined everything! I earned that fucking hammer! But now, everyone's gonna think I only got it, because Magni's gone.
The giant Vafthrudnir actually foretold that Magni and Modi would both inherit Mjolnir after Thor's death and wield it together. Don't see that happening here, though.
Alright. The Blades of Chaos.
myth-related, just a genuine question. Why are Kratos' blades the blades of chaos again? They became the blades of Athena at the end of God of War 1, and then became the blades of exile during God of War 3. So, how exactly did they revert?
Let me take this moment to tell you that what you are about to do is absolutely insane. Not even Odin can survive. So, I hope those blades work.
Odin has been to Helheim.
Yeah, what?
He brought the goddess there to assign her as ruler, and he went there again to hear the prophecy of Ragnarok. His son Hermod also journeyed into Helheim after Baldur died.
The Bridge of the Damned. And there's the Keeper, making sure the dead are really dead.
What is that he holds?
That totem contains a powerful source of magical energy, the very power of Helheim itself. But what you want is his heart. Just take it and we can leave.
How?
Start some trouble. You can do that, right?
So another what is it? Troll.
There actually is a bridge in Helheim with a guardian, but in the myths, the guardian is a female giant named Modgud, whereas this guardian is a male troll named Matuga.
What the hell?
Kratos is able to walk right through the gate to Helheim without encountering the giant wolf Garm, who's supposed to be guarding it at all times. I swear, Kratos goes to every underworld while the guards are off duty.
Did I tell you that I have a son,
Well,
too?
remember.
It's been
You remember Ragnarok.
forever since I last saw him. At his birth, the runes foretold a needless death.
Baldur's death wasn't predicted at his birth. Baldur himself began having nightmares of his death when he was an adult. Odin then spoke to the seeress in Helheim, and that's when Baldur's mother took action.
A Valkyrie. We have to save her.
Think before you act. Are we prepared to face such a powerful foe?
I'm ready if you are.
Aye, same here. If that counts for anything.
Oh, Mimir. I love Mimir. I gotta take these next time I play. Damn, good.
We encounter both the Valkyrie Sigrun and the Valkyrie Kara in this game, but those two are the same person in the myths. Sigrun became Kara after she died and was reborn.
The truth.
I'm a god boy.
The truth.
I was born a god.
I'm a god boy. From another land far from here. When I came to these shores, I chose to live as a man. But the truth is, I was born a god.
No, you were not.
And so were you.
Wait, now Kratos was born a god? Jesus Christ, that doesn't make any sense! In order to be a god in Greek mythology, you have to either have two godly parents or be granted godhood by another god. This is evidenced by the children of Greek gods, especially Dionysus, who only became a full god because Zeus put his fetus into his leg for the remainder of his development.
You know the Greeks were doing a hell of a lot of that when they came up with these stories. What the hell is that? Dionysus is grown out of somebody's leg? Where's the womb? Where's the housing? Why couldn't he have hit it in his ass? Or why didn't he eat him? Like, there is literally a story in Greek mythology when Kronos eats all of the Olympian... Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough. Because they're not full deities, the only reason. Okay. All right. I'll give him that.
All All this time, I assumed Kratos was born mortal and granted godhood at the end of the first game since his mother was mortal and he needed the powers of Pandora's box to kill Ares. He's even referred to as mortal many times in the first game and the prequel games. If he was born a god, why didn't the gods tell him that when they wanted Ares dead? The gods tell him that when they wanted Ares dead? Why did he need the box? Why didn't he have godly powers his whole life? There's also no reason for Kratos to think Atreus is a god, because he currently believes Atreus is the child of a Greek god and a mortal woman. It's revealed later that the mother was a Jotun, and that actually fits perfectly in Norse myth, but Kratos doesn't know that. I swear, Kratos' lore and abilities just change in every game!
This one mentions places I've never heard of.
Yeah.
Seems Tyr really liked to travel.
Kinda
Tyr
does.
believed the mind, not might, was key to preventing war and chaos. And he also knew visiting other cultures would give him perspective staying in one place could not.
There aren't specifically stories of Tyr visiting these lands, but Tyr was the god of heroic endeavors, and the Vikings are known to have visited Asia, Africa, and the Americas. So you could technically argue that Tyr did go to these places because the Vikings brought their faith in Tyr with them.
Yeah, Tyr looks like freaking how they would draw Beren from Lord of the Rings.
It's one way to look at it.
So, whatever happened to Tyr?
Odin came to regard him as a threat to his rule. He suspected Tyr of collaborating to aid the giants instead of helping to steal their secrets for the Aesir. Same thing he accused me of, frankly. Though in Tyr's case, I believe he was right.
Odin did not have a falling out with Tyr. Tyr sticks with Odin and fights alongside the Aesir during Ragnarok.
Yeah.
The rune! Did you see it?
Yes!
Are you certain?
I got it! Trust me!
Good then. Aim for the face.
These two trolls are both named Grendel. There was a troll named Grendel in Norse culture, but only one, and he wasn't fire or frost fueled. His anger was actually unleashed at the sound of music, so I guess we can blame Bear McCreary for setting these two off.
You know, I just thought of something in deference to Lord. I know we're not here at Ragnarok, but I don't know if I'll remember this, but imagine if we're going to have another sequel game where we can, because Tyr is still alive, as Valhalla points out. Imagine if there's either a side game with Atreus, because you know they always are saying that they want an Atreus game. I don't know why, but you know, imagine if he sticks in Norse mythology and he convinces Tyr to give up his hand to Fenrir and get it bitten off, just like in the myth. That would be pretty cool. Or either that, or Atreus convinces him, or Tyr comes up with that idea in order to save Atreus. You know, you can still do that and like have the Garm fighting against Fenrir's influence or some crap like that. There's a million things you could do. Wow. Well, really? Oh, now you go.
Grendel was slain by Beowulf, not Kratos.
Love Beowulf.
Gerdrifel's name translates to spear flinger, yet here she wields a scythe and flings feathers. No sign of spears.
Somebody made them this way. Who? And why?
I wouldn't want to speculate.
You know something.
Mimir, the smartest man alive.
Smartest man alive.
Head.
Sigrun, the queen of the Valkyries. She would have that power. The last time I saw her, she was corporeal herself. She came to visit me long after I'd been imprisoned by Odin.
Why?
Well, we had history, I guess you could say.
Like, romantic history?
Oh.
You're making me blush.
Sigrun was never queen of the Valkyries. That was always Freya. And the man Sigrun loved was named Helgi Hundingsbane.
Thor!
Why is...
Blame me. Me. For what you did to Magni. My own father called me a coward.
Looks like he did more than that. Move it, or we'll pick up where he left off.
I'll kill you.
No.
He is beaten.
He is beaten. Not worth killing.
He should pay for what he said about Mother.
I said no.
But we're gods. We can do whatever we want.
That's what I said to your mother. Right before I gave it to her.
Little child.
What are you doing?
This is a much better knife than Mother's.
And now Modi dies, despite being one of the few characters who survives all of Norse mythology. Not sure who's gonna rebuild the world after Ragnarok now.
Yeah, right.
Boy.
Boy. Atreus is a little shit in this game, and there's no story of little kids being little shits to their parents in Norse mythology. Oh, well, damn.
This lore states that Thor's mother was killed, possibly by Thor, but there is no mention of Fiorin's death in the myths.
Wow, it's cold. This is hell?
Not just hell. Worst place in hell you could have put us.
Really? I'm gonna have to disagree with you, Mimir. I think it'd be much worse to land in the area where Nidhogg devours the dead, or to land in the river Gjöll and be flushed away into the void of Ginnunga Gap.
No.
No, I would never do this.
Listen.
You had no right.
I had every right. I am your mother.
You had no right, witch.
Which?
I can't taste. I can't smell. I can't even feel the temperature of this room. Feasting, drinking, women. It's all gone.
You will never
Gone.
feel pain again. Death has no power over you now. You would rather die?
Never feel again? Yes. I would rather die. Yes. Take it away, Mother.
I can't.
Please take it away.
It doesn't work like that. Son, trust me in time. You will thank me. You will thank me.
Come on.
In this game, Baldur became invulnerable because his mother cast a spell on him. In the myths, she made him invulnerable by demanding that every living and non-living thing swear an oath never to hurt him. However the Helheim that works.
I know, right?
It's also never implied in the myths that it took away his ability to experience any pleasure. If anything, he seemed happy about what his mom did.
Yeah, right.
Not entirely sure this is seaworthy.
She will do.
We're currently in Helheim, so is this ship supposed to be Naglfar? It's the only Helheim ship mentioned in mythology. Naglfar should be way bigger than this, considering it's supposed to bring the entire army of the dead and the army of the giants to Ragnarok. It's also supposed to be made entirely of fingernails and toenails.
Tyr's temple is near the top of a tremendous waterfall, which, sadly, we are downstream. That means even if we get there intact, we'd still need to sail up a waterfall
How do
somehow.
you know you're
The Vanir built
downstream?
the greatest ship that ever was, and it can fly.
Skidbladnir? Yeah, because it was designed to fly. This was not.
The Vanir did not build Skidbladnir. That ship was built by the sons of Ivaldi, and they were dwarves.
What are those runes in the corners?
Not runes. Symbols from different lands. They mean
War.
No, they don't. The symbol on the top left is the Egyptian Eye of Ra, which symbolizes Ra's power. Now, I'm sure some of you are thinking, well, maybe it's the Eye of Horus. No,
That's
the Eye of
different
Horus
side.
faces
Yeah.
the other way.
And I
The
was
symbol
also
on the
not
lower
black.
left is the Japanese Tomoe, or Mitsudomoi, which symbolizes threefold division, the god Hachiman, and many other things. The symbol on the lower right is the Celtic triskelion, which symbolizes motion. Even the Greek omega symbol on the top right is simply the last letter of the Greek alphabet and symbolizes endings or limits. Man, Kratos doesn't even know his own language.
Greetings, and welcome to Conan's Guard. I just want to make sure you're good and prepared before heading in any further. There's all manner of nastiness left over from the Mad Dwarf King's foul practices.
What kind of practices?
Oh, various sacrificing, dark enchantments, blood, magic, and so forth. Quite common among the older dwarves, unfortunately. Old habits are hard to break.
In this game, Motsognir was an evil dwarf king who basically did every manner of evil thing. In the myths, Motsognir was the first of the dwarves and came to be known as either ruler of dwarves or lord of dwarves, and that's it. There doesn't seem to be anything else on him. Moving on.
Triceratops.
Are these boy or girl dragons?
I do not know.
There are a few ways to find out, but they're rather messy.
No, thank you.
I guess it doesn't matter.
This dragon is named Regan. Regan was Fafnir's other brother and was never a dragon or even a shapeshifter.
Wow.
Regan was always a dwarf.
Well, you didn't
It
know
seems
that.
the developers found the story of Fafnir, then found out he had 2 brothers and decided, let's just make them all dragons.
Yay!
Fafnir was a dragon, so
Why not?
Here, boy.
Jeez.
The things you pulled from him. Those must be the 3 mythical ingredients Brock was talking about.
I can say with utmost certainty that I've never laid eye on a stranger set of objects in my life.
How are Brock and Sindri supposed to build with... whatever they are?
Don't count the dwarves out, lad. They're right pricks, but they're resourceful. They once made an unbreakable chain out of little more than a cat's footstep and bird spit.
Well, wait,
That doesn't even make sense.
but that's for
That's the legend.
Fenrir.
If you wanted sense, you shouldn't be talking to a severed head.
This is such a great reference to how dwarves build using intangible things in Norse mythology. However, the unbreakable chain Mimir is referring to wasn't a chain at all. It was a golden string called Gleipnir. It was specifically created because the strongest chains weren't enough to restrain Fenrir.
Wonder who...
Well, that's probably what they did. They probably just made that chain, and technically you could make the argument that this is before Fenrir, so they had not made the slip yet. So
Motsognir was not one of the sons of Ivaldi. He was the first dwarf, as I said before. He evolved from a maggot in Ymir's flesh.
what? A maggot?
Funny how this
these
is
people
called a
smoke weed.
Prometheus flame, since technically every flame on Earth came from Prometheus in Greek myth. He's the reason people have fire at all.
I'm confused.
Yeah, sorry. Apologize, guys, but it's really raining out there. Yeah. Oh well.
I always heard that Baldur's mother was Frigg.
Aye, Frigg. Well, that's more of a pet name, you see. It means beloved, something Odin called Freya after they wed. Out of affection at first, or so I like to believe. As things turned sour, it became a way to manipulate the truth.
How so?
Odin didn't want Freya, a Vanir goddess, getting credit for anything in Asgard. So anything worthy she accomplished was attributed to Frigg.
Like being Baldur's mother.
That's right. Freya was Baldur's mother all along.
Freya and Frigg being the same goddess is actually something many scholars have proposed, so sure, we can go with that.
Okay.
Though it does result in an unfortunate lack of a goddess who spins clouds in her spare time.
So what do you think, Mimir? What does Baldur
Why
want?
does that go away?
Well, let's look at what
don't
we
get
know.
it.
Baldur is Odin's finest tracker, bar none.
I would have thought Uller would be a better tracker since he's a god of the hunt and skiing, similar to Skadi. Uller would definitely be on Odin's side since Sif is his mother.
Mimir, You never told us what Magni and Modi had to do with Hrungnir.
Oh yes. Well, what happened after Hrungnir fell slain upon Thor was that nobody in the court could get the stone body off of him. Thor was no use at this point, his brain rattled, his breath shallow, but none of Odin's men were nearly strong enough to help. Then enter little Magni and Modi, no taller than shrubs. And while nobody but myself was looking, they flipped over Hrungnir's corpse and freed their father.
What?
Well, actually, it was just Magni who lifted Hrungnir. Modi wasn't involved.
Magni, being blonder, got all the credit, and Modi remained bitter about it from that day to the end, which I don't need to tell you about.
Hey, don't try to argue
Yeah.
with me, Mimir. Who the hell do you think you are?
My first master was a cruel piece of work as well, but I learned through him the enduring power of wit, which served me well with kings and gods alike. I couldn't have been much older than you when I started. A fairy king's errand boy and unofficial jester. By night, my mates and I had the run of the forest. Good fellows they called us. Never
Good
split for the
fellows.
last. We'd get up to all manner of mischief, making fools of the local mortals. But as long as our lord was kept amused, we were spared the consequences.
So, apparently Mimir in this game is also Puck from A Midsummer Night's Dream, which I guess explains the horns and the Celtic accent. Honestly, not really sure what to say about that. Guess I'll just point out that that character was based on the Puck fairies from English folklore, who have special abilities both in mythology and in the Shakespeare play that Mimir never seems to utilize. Like, Pucks are often said to have a special connection with nature, yet Odin was somehow able
Get
to
it.
imprison Mimir in a tree.
Okay,
Weird.
what about the giant with 8 arms?
Starkath the Mighty was called. If the giants ever had anything so organised as an army, Starkath would have been their general. An opinion, in retrospect, I should have kept to myself. But no, as Odin's advisor, I kept him advised. And having bent his will towards Starkath's doom, there was no dissuading him. But even Thor wasn't stupid enough to take on Starkath on his own. No. Instead, the Aesir set forth slanders upon Starkath's name, branding him throughout the realms as a monster to be feared.
Monster.
They said he abducted an elf queen who killed herself rather than be ravished by the giant. Lies, of course, but you're too young for her story. In the end, even the Vanir gods and the armies of Midgard were roused to the cause. They surrounded Starkath, showered him with arrows until he was brought to his knees. He surrendered, hoping by trial he could clear his name. Thor took advantage and ripped off one of Starkath's arms, which only made it easier to sever another and another until he was satisfied. Relieved of 6 arms and too much blood, Starkath perished upon the battlefield.
As you've probably already guessed, that Elf Queen offing herself story that Mimir said was lies is part of Starkad's actual tale. And the reason Starkad dies in the myths is because he kidnaps another woman and Thor kills him to save her.
It is said that when Jormungandr and
Well,
Thor
could
battle
be lies.
Ragnarok, their clash so violently shakes the Tree of Life that it splinters, casting the serpent backward through time, even before his own birth.
That is
What?
not said by anyone. It is said that Thor and Jormungandr will kill each other during Ragnarok. There is no mention of time travel. The hell kind of people are you talking to?
Wow, it's hot here.
Clearly not hot enough, though. Muspelheim is supposed to be so hot that only those native to it can survive there.
Niflheim. Not sure why anyone would want to come here, but here we are.
It smells bad.
Niflheim is supposed to be the coldest of all the realms. Nothing but ice and snow as far as the eye can see.
But it's
Well, you
too
know,
close to-
I suppose it's cooled considerably since the dawn of creation, hasn't it? Niflheim isn't exactly ice these days either.
Oh my God.
It's in the nature of things. Extremes are tempered by time. Fires burn colder, men grow old and grey, heads are chopped off and attached to belts. Such is life.
Oh. Okay, never mind, I guess. God damn it, Mimir, stop that.
Careful, lads.
A Valkyrie. Get the Valkyrie.
Gondul's name translates to wand wielder. I see no wand. Oh, wait, there it is. Wow, that's some amazing attention to detail, assuming it was intentional. I choose to assume it was.
Is that what I think it is?
Useless armor?
Useless?
Useless armor.
Oh, ye of little faith, this armor was worn by Ivaldi himself.
Oh.
Sure, it's seen better days, but I can restore it with more mist echoes. And it'll help with the effects of Ivaldi's curse.
Ivaldi is a character we have absolutely no information on.
Oh well.
There's a story about his sons, but not him specifically, so I can't really comment about him or his workshop here.
Well, it'll do it.
What's interesting about this fight is when we fought Kara, she summoned Droger during the fight, but Hildur in Norse myth had the power to revive the dead. Would have made more sense for her to summon those.
Well, what have we got?
Some sort of travel stone.
Let me see.
Oh, that's the Unity Stone.
Great Ardumlazaras. That's
What?
the Unity Stone.
There is no Unity Stone in any mythology. We are a divided people.
You're familiar with the tale of Skoll and Hoti, bringers of day and night.
MAGA.
Oh yeah, the wolf giants.
Aye.
And I know you're like, oh, that has nothing to do with anything, but if we were more, connected, we'd be a better species and not kill each other for every little incursion. But here we are. Still have not learned our lesson after being on Earth for 2 million years.
They were born of the archwolf Hrothwitnir, a great nemesis of the Aesir gods.
Skoll and Hati were children of Fenrir, but what's interesting here is Hrothvitnir is actually one of Fenrir's alternate names, so this would be accurate, except the next game makes it clear that Fenrir is a separate character, which is inaccurate.
Gondul. Beautiful Gondul.
And?
Huh?
That's it? Beautiful Gondul? No story or anything?
Oh, sorry, lad. The sight of Gondul always took my breath away. Gondul had a silver tongue, a sharp wit, and struck a figure so stunning it literally drove men insane. Odin forbid her from setting foot in Midgard after a time, as insanity is not a welcome trait in Valhalla.
That is definitely a reference to Sorla Thatir, a story where a woman named Gondul seduces and manipulates a man into committing heinous deeds and losing his mind. Though that character was very likely separate from Gondul the Valkyrie.
Okay. Oh, it's fine.
Whoa, you're back. Man, who is she?
Gunnar, Mistress of War. This is none other than Geirdrifo, the Master of Arms in Valhalla, responsible for arming and training Odin's Einherjar. This, my friends, is Kara. Now, Valkyries are volatile by nature, but Kara, the lass is wild storm personified.
Hellwalkers.
That's right. Rota, Gunnar, Skuld. Without them to clean up the aftermath of battle, hell overflows with souls meant for Valhalla. Ah, here we have Air, the healer.
Okay, take a moment to appreciate just how well-researched all of Mimir's Valkyrie descriptions are. From Gunnar being war-focused, to Yrr being a healer, to Rota being friends with Gunnar and Skuld, to Kara being associated with storms, etc.
You have saved the Valkyries.
Sigurd.
Sigrun. How did this happen?
Mimir, is that you? You have been freed, but...
Freedom comes at a price, milady.
You speak truly. Countless winters we served the All-Father. But only through his union to the Queen did we ever taste some measure of freedom.
But aren't you the queen?
There has only been one Queen of the Valkyries, the goddess Freya.
Oh, cool. Thanks for validating what I said earlier. See, game, even your own characters agree with me sometimes.
You sure this is a good idea?
No.
Well, brothers, I've been to many strange places, but this will be a new one.
Yeah. I've never been in a giant's belly either. How about you, Father?
Trying to eat me.
These three are heading straight into Jormungandr's mouth, which is a very bad idea, considering Jormungandr breathes poison that is so deadly it will kill Thor during Ragnarok and toxify nearly all of Midgard. I'd recommend a change of course.
You might want to turn away, boy. This won't be pretty.
I won't let you hurt him.
No, boy.
Fine.
Stop!
What is this? I can feel this. I can feel everything.
He's vulnerable now? That arrow! Baldur punched the mistletoe?
In the quiver strap, yes. Mistletoe harmed him.
Freya said it was wicked.
He's more than harmed. The spell is broken.
He can be killed.
I'm certain of it.
Here, mistletoe makes Baldur vulnerable. In the myth, it killed him instantly.
Oh, well. That makes no sense.
Why do you even care? You could have walked away.
The Sigurlians here must be better than this.
That's not how Baldur dies. Loki tricks the blind god Hod into throwing a mistletoe dart at him.
Blind god?
He chose this.
I will rain down every agony, every violation imaginable upon you.
Question, why can't the Aesir or even Kratos just go to Helheim and get Baldur back? In the myths, they tried that, but the goddess Hel said she wouldn't let him leave unless everyone cried for him, and Loki refused to, so it couldn't happen.
Again, also, here's the weird fucking thing. Why did we ignore Hel in these games? I mean, I know why we did, because, you know, that is Loki's daughter, and boy, that shit is weird. But no, they literally go into Helheim in both games, and they don't encounter Hela or Hel. So, I mean, what are they saving her for an Atreus game? That'd be weird.
But Hel doesn't exist in these games, and I doubt Loki would be a problem, so what's stopping everybody?
Mimir, you never told me what happened with the stonemason's son.
Hrimthur, son of Thamur. After completing his father's masterwork, the Great Wall of Jotunheim, he thought of nothing but making the Aesir pay for their crimes against the giants. Once he longed to fight Thor, but tragedy had brought wisdom to Hrimthur, and cunning. He observed that Asgard's walls were half-built and shoddy, for no Aesir god could be bothered with such tiresome labour. So Hrimthur adopted the guise of an ordinary man and made the Aesir an offer. He would build them majestic new walls, and if he couldn't build them within 2 turns of the season, they would owe him nothing for his labours. And if he succeeded, he asked only for an audience with the goddess Freya. Odin agreed, knowing the task was impossible, but he was grieved by the speed. Hrimthur made short work of it, of course. He had the benefit of his father's training and the aid of a magical stallion for fetching stones. Odin was not happy to find himself on the losing end of the wager, but he seemed to uphold his end of the bargain. Freya was sent to meet the mason, and to her surprise, he wanted only to whisper something in her ear. That being done, he made his way out of Asgard. And when he found Thor awaiting him at the gates of Midgard, he knew he had been double-crossed. But he didn't care. because his plan was complete.
The giant who built Asgard's wall asked for Freya's hand in marriage, along with the sun and the moon.
Yes.
Because of this, the Aesir sabotaged his work towards the end, won the wager, and then killed him when he got angry and attacked.
But again, sounds like lies, huh?
They really are all gone.
The giants did not die out before Ragnarok. An entire army of them shows
Yeah,
up for
that's
that
true.
battle.
And it doesn't happen in Ragnarok,
I
so
bet that mother was a
bullshit.
giant. Which makes me part giant and part god.
And part mortal.
Right. I guess there's just one thing I don't understand. My name on the wall. The giants called me...
Loki?
Loki?
Well, that throws a bunch more worms into the pile, doesn't it?
Yes, it
There are
does.
several Norse stories, including nearly all of the major ones, that have definitely already happened that require Loki for them to happen. The tale of Thiassi starts with Loki being kidnapped. The tale of mountain giants heavily involves Loki. The tale of Thrym is reliant on Loki's trickery. How does Sleipnir even exist in this world when Loki wasn't around to mother him?
Yeah,
Why
mother
was
him.
Mjolnir even created when Loki didn't
Mother.
initiate the competition that inspired it?
And if you guys didn't know, that's one of the stories I do know. Loki had to turn into a freaking horse, distract another horse or some bullcrap, and lo and behold, he turned himself into he turned himself into a female horse to distract this male horse, and yeah, did not think to be like, oh yeah, let's go into these bushes, and then turn away and fly away, you know? But no, he had to stay there for like a few days and mate with this thing. I think he just wanted to know what it was like. I'm sorry. I know that's weird, but I just think he just wanted to know.
Also, Loki's definitely supposed to be fully grown and a blood brother to Odin by the time Balder is killed.
How about that? A young Jotun with us the whole time.
That doesn't
The
happen.
son of Laufey, I should have seen it before.
Loki's mother was named Laufey, but surprisingly, his father wasn't a Greek god named Kratos. He was a giant named Farbalti. Loki
Well,
also has two brothers
they
named
describe him as
Byleaster and
Farbalti.
Helblindi.
Yeah. What? Shatter Gauntlet of Ages? Oh, the Infinity? Yeah.
I know this is gonna shock people, but there were actually no Avengers-style Infinity Gauntlets in Norse mythology.
Oh, the Thor thing. It's only like 2 years. 2 or 3 years. Oh,
Alright, I've gotta compliment that Mjolnir design. It's
Yeah.
much more accurate than what I usually see in media. Question though, why is the handle still short if Loki never turned into a fly and sabotaged Brock and Sindri while they were making
That's
it?
true. Oh yeah, I'm wearing a Greek mythology shirt. Well, not really Greek mythology, but Spartans! What is your profession? Ho! 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 I love 300. Yes, I cannot wait to get to Ragnarok video now. There is a lot of crap that they screwed up regardless, and more than I thought, actually. I'm actually kind of surprised that they changed a lot. But the theme of the story really is like, saying, hey, they're lying. The gods are actually evil and blah, 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 blah. It's a good concept too. And I wish that's the kind of concept that they went along with in Greek mythology, in the Greek games. But yeah, what are you going to do? They just were like, yeah, it happened this way and fuck you if it sounds different. Yeah. Yeah, so I love this video. I love his stuff. I gotta watch more of his videos, and yeah, let me know if I should. And please smash that like button if you want to see more sexy and nerdy content. And subscribe if that is over. Remember to sign up for my Patreon for all my latest reactions to all my latest videos. And I'll see y'all in the next episode.